the calm before the storm. Things aren't as they were before. You best start bracing. Did you think you could keep us out? Shut the gates, forget us now. The tides are changing. Can you hear the sound? Can't stop us now. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. We're the revolution. Can you hear the sound? With the ground beneath your feet, with a whisper in the trees. Do you feel us watching? Hunger.
Hello, everybody. I hope I don't get blocked in some territories. I need to set up, although obviously I can't show you guys me setting it up, but I need to set up the withdrawal ability from my, what was it, Stream Elements, I think, from my tips, so that way I can go out and buy a mail still. Hey, what's going on? What's up, brother? I haven't set up the withdrawal yet, so I gotta figure that out. I think that's next. Tipping settings, payment. How do I do that design? Is it under SE? Oh, SE Pay? There it is. Your bank details are being verified. I don't think I set them up yet. This may take some business days. Withdrawals will be available. Okay, September 13th. What the hell? I just got a whole bunch of... A ton of emails just came out of nowhere. Okay. Personal details. Here we go. I'm connecting my bank now. if I can remember. Sorry, slow start. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. I'm like, I just had to go live. You know what I mean? I had to go live. I was like, all right. I didn't go live yesterday, so I had to stop waiting so I can get something going here. This isn't. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing here. There it is. Okay, there it is. What's been happening? Nothing. I just hung out with my son yesterday and stuff like that. I got to figure out which account. How you doing, man? Tired. I slept a lot though, too. I slept till 4 a.m. I went to bed at like 8. That's a lot of sleep. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 8 hours. That's a lot of sleep. That works. Okay. You successfully verified your bank. Sign services agreements. Oh my God, what is all this? Tired as fuck too, huh? That detail took 14 hours. Oh my God, I didn't get to watch it. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's right. My bad. Thanks for reminding me. I got the message, but I was in the middle of something. Dude, I have such bad ADHD too. I gotta see this. Hold on, I gotta see this because I was curious too. Oh, I have to sign all these separately? Oh, it is all signed. Okay. Okay, so now it's verifying. It's just a tiny section. Still. Okay, so now it's verified, so I accomplished that. "99 videos, laughing my ass off." That's crazy they take 56 cents off the top. So it must be a percentage. I mean, that's not bad. But I mean, how much money would that be if I made $1 million? I just don't know about going live while I'm out and about. So I'm like thinking, maybe I should just start off by making a TikTok or making a video of me buying somebody some food and then basically advertising that to like put that on YouTube Shorts and then also put that on TikTok and be like, hey, help support the cause. Donations go to this location, blah blah blah, and yeah, and then see if I can get more donations. And as I get more donations, when the money frees up, excuse me. My goodness. As the money frees up, like I could stop until I'm able to just kind of like front the money and then reimburse or whatever. I could do it like that. You know what I mean? But right now, obviously, I really have to rely on the money that comes in. So, for example, this money will free up on the 13th. When it does, I have it transferred, and then, I mean, yesterday morning I did like 2 hours of delivering, and I came across at least 4 different unhoused. You know what I mean? So to at least 4 different homeless people on the way. Shit. So, but I would have to, that'd be awesome. Hope you can get some vids and go viral. To go viral. Yeah, we'll see, I guess, right? We'll see how, you know, it still relies on entertainment, right? So basically, I'd have to, it'd probably have to be semi-interesting or something somehow. I don't know how that would be, though. I'll have to figure it out. Glad to have some fun, have the founding donation. I know, right? Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. That would be sick though if it went somewhere, you know? It's like, and then literally just go around helping people randomly. That'd be sick. That'd be so cool. All right. Oh my God, I had something in mind. I don't remember what the hell it was. Oh, I wanted to watch another one of those videos from that dude I watched the other day because that was kind of interesting. What the hell was his name though? It was like Kyle or something. I don't know. Oh, it was Kyle Hill. There we go. That's who it was. The biggest threat you've never heard of. I'm a bit curious. It's a 12-minute video, so it's whatever. Bro, that is him. Right? Is that him? Let's see.
The smartest men in the world realized that their work on the atomic bomb was to be immediately demonstrated on.
Your sister always makes, glad to have the founder donation. My sister always makes care packages for the homeless. Oh, that's sick. Oh, no, no doubt. So that kind of hits close to home for you then. All right. That's awesome.
Hundreds of thousands of Japanese citizens. Dozens of Manhattan Project scientists step back from the brink.
Oh, it's really quiet. Hold on. You can't even hear it. Let me turn it up. Yeah, man, good stuff. No doubt.
When some of the smartest men in the world realized that their work on the atomic bomb was to be immediately demonstrated on hundreds of thousands of Japanese citizens, dozens of Manhattan Project scientists stepped back from the brink they helped create and signed a petition to the then American president. However, the petition was never circulated at Oppenheimer's Los Alamos labs, and President Truman never saw it. Quote, "The things we are working on are so terrible that no amount of protesting or fiddling with politics will save our souls." There has been a tension between the use of nuclear knowledge ever since. We willingly created a new existential risk because we thought we could control it. We're now standing on a new precipice. With the advent of synthetic biology, the technical ability to design and/or redesign biological systems, some scientists are once again warning that we might manifest a new existential threat. Something that should never be created. They are talking about the literal opposite of earthly organisms: mirror life. The most popular picture of life's origin looks something like this. Earth, billions of years ago, was very different. There was no oxygen in the atmosphere.
My God, was I muted there again? Was I muted? I feel like I was muted. Let's test it. Let me take a look and see if I was muted, because hold on, I do that a lot. Let me.
Years ago was very different. There was no oxygen in the atmosphere.
My God, was I muted there again? Was I muted?
Something like.
I was. Bruh, I pushed the thing to unmute and it doesn't always pick up. Okay. Well, like I said, damn it. And now it's too loud. I feel like I'm peeking out. I said this is basically a complete blind reaction. And I have no idea what it's about. I guess I'm getting an idea. It's only 12 minutes, so.
Magma oceans, frequent extraterrestrial bombardment. It was in this hellscape where the first building blocks of life, like amino acids, had enough time to come together. We don't know what the first spark was. Lightning strike, deep sea vents, or just luck. But eventually those building blocks started to self-replicate inside the primordial soup. Then they enclosed themselves in layers of other molecules. Then came metabolism. It was here where evolution decided that ribo and deoxyribonucleic acids were going to be the blueprints of life. Fast forward 3.5 billion years and you're watching this video. This is of course a grand simplification of uncountable atomic interactions over an unthinkable amount of time. DNA didn't just appear. There were likely innumerable iterations of acids and bases that didn't work. Not just different molecules, but even different shapes of the same molecules. Imagine a simple sphere. If you take its mirror image, it's exactly the same. The two can be superposed. Now, take your left hand. The mirror image of your left hand is your right hand. They cannot be placed over each other like the spheres can. This is called chirality, a property of asymmetry important to any field of science that deals with atoms, molecules, and other particles. It's important in the understanding of life itself because
No right-handed nucleotides and left-handed protein amino acids mirror left-handed nucleotides and right-handed. Okay.
its blueprints and construction materials, DNA and proteins, are chiral. DNA is made from right-handed nucleotides, and proteins are made from left-handed amino acids. What mirror life would be then is life from molecules of the opposite chirality in every instance. It's forecast that within the next decade, the field of synthetic biology will be at a point where it can create the nanomachinery needed to make whatever kinds of molecules scientists want, including DNA of either chirality. And right now, there are prominent scientists that think building opposite chirality DNA, proteins, even single-celled synthetic organisms like bacteria will yield important scientific insights. But because life evolved over billions of years to interact with the world in one direction, mirror life may...
What's going on, Hat? You know, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's like, are we like when is too far? All right, you got the hadron collider. Is that what it's called? Right, that could potentially create mini black holes. Like, so we're experimenting with something that could create black holes. That doesn't sound like a risk.
They pose an existential threat on the level of nuclear weapons. Less than a year ago, over 40 renowned biologists warned that mirror life might even be worse. Every single surface that you can see likely has some amount of microorganisms on it. Those invisible realms are where most of the action on Earth takes place. You can't see it, but microorganism biomass outweighs all of the animals on Earth combined. The power here is in population growth. Single-celled organisms are only single cells, and so they can create more of themselves much more quickly than an organism like you with trillions of cells. This is a simple equation for the growth of a population of bacteria. This exponent means it's exponential growth, and these variables represent the growth rate and the time. In theory, if a single bacteria with unlimited food and movement and lifespan split itself every 20 minutes, in a little over 3 days, there would be more bacteria than particles in the observable universe. The power of exponential growth is curtailed by the bottlenecks of nutrients and space and disease and predation in the real world for real bacteria. On the mirrored hand, however, a synthetic bacteria might not have those constraints. Almost 200 years ago, Louis Pasteur demonstrated that two molecules of the same composition could be nonetheless structurally distinct. He had found the handedness, or chirality, of molecules. Since then, there have always been reasons to eventually study mirror molecules.
I don't know why this video did so good, but I'm getting bored. getting bored with this. I'm not watching this shit. This I'm more interested in right here, though. Why does fentanyl feel so good? So obviously, as some of you know, I'm actually an addict in 8 years of recovery now, right? I just say over 8 years on July 21st. So I think my sobriety date is July 21st of 2017, right? So I just went over 8 years. I was, in fact, thank you. I was, in fact, a heroin addict and a crackhead. Interesting story. I certainly didn't look like I look now. In fact, I probably should just show a damn picture. I will, actually. Let me show you what I look like. Bro, I'm not a robot. What are you doing? Yes, I care about the needy because of selfish reasons, realistically, because it's relatable to me. Right? I understand what it's like. Oh, remember where I come from. Good example. Here we go. There we go. Okay. This is me. Oops, wrong button. Sorry. This is me. When I was not doing so well. 8+ years ago. So that's that. So anyway, look at this. Okay, why does fentanyl feel so good? Whoa, no way. I honestly wouldn't have known. Yeah, I get that all the time. Plus, people who like see me in person, they see how my stature and my body actually is shaped too. And comparing to that, it's pretty wild. All right, mute yourself. There you go.
Fentanyl must be amazing. Loads of people give up on everything that makes life good for it. Their loved ones, any other possessions or pursuits, homes, their dignity, and even their lives. But actually, fentanyl is garbage heroin, inferior in every single way but one. It's the perfect drug for dealers. And while we hear a lot about how deadly fentanyl is, many people it kills are not even fentanyl addicts. It's truly the dumbest drug to ruin your life for. Let's learn what fentanyl does to you, what it feels like, and why it's so much lamer than heroin. Pain and pleasure. Maybe the two most important forms.
Why it's so much lamer than heroin. Heroin on its own, it's pretty damn lame, right? But there's lamer? Tell me more.
Forces that guide our survival are pain and pleasure. Pain may be the most visceral physical experience. A claw ripping your flesh, a bone cracking, rejection eating your soul. Pain can be scary and unbearable. It's the strongest signal our bodies have to make us avoid harm. Pleasure is what makes life good because it feels, well, amazing. Eating things that are sweet or high fat, having sex, or opening another booster pack with your friends. Anything that makes you feel pleasure makes you want to do it again.
Opening another booster pack with your friends. She had a Pokemon. That's funny.
Opposing forces guide you through life. Pain shouts, "Stop, this is bad." Pleasure cheers, "More, do that again." But while they are opposites, they're also linked. Sometimes our body needs to end pain and create pleasure at the same time. After giving birth, pain gets toned down and the mother is showered in happy hormones so she can bond with the newborn child. During an intense hunt, the hunter forgets the physical exhaustion and minor injuries. Both are technically not great experiences, but need to be repeated for our survival. And nature invented a powerful mechanism to achieve this: the mighty opioid receptor. It's like a keyhole on the neurons that control pain and pleasure. If activated, it reduces pain and how much you care about pain, and it creates pleasure and good feelings. The details are complex and not relevant for this story. What you need to know is that any molecule that can fit into an opioid receptor like a key is called an opioid. Opioids are extremely powerful, so when your body uses natural opioids like endorphins when you laugh, it releases only a tiny amount exactly where they're needed. So the effects are mild and localized. Your sprained ankle feels better, a painful memory subsides, you get a boost of happiness meeting an old friend. And now we're getting to drugs. Humans found opioids in nature like morphine and were quite taken by them. They got refined into a whole family of drugs used in hospitals and to relieve patients that are in immense pain. Codeine, OxyContin, Vicodin, and of course, heroin, and the worst of all.
Typically, to give a little perspective here, right? Typically, it starts, this is like the order in which it starts to when it comes to addiction, right? So you start off with like some sort of prescription. The order isn't exact, but like you start with like a prescription. Like for me, it was like Vicodin, right? Also in high school, friends were using OxyContin, but prescription of Vicodin or OxyContin, and then you start getting OxyContin off the street. OxyContin then disappeared, right? They stopped developing it, and you couldn't find it anywhere. And at some point, trying to buy Percocet off the street became too expensive, and at some point, you end up here, basically.
Of course, heroin, and the worst of all, fentanyl.
And then you end up there, right? So when I was using heroin, it was available. Fentanyl was just starting to rear its ugly head.
Before we can explain why fentanyl
Now, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's really any heroin out there anymore. Realistically, people only end up getting fentanyl now. Like, that's it.
is the most garbage drug, we need to do something fun. Let's inject some heroin together. Ready?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
The supernova of pleasure. Heroin rushes through your entire body and flips every opioid receptor it finds. A rapid cascade of things happens everywhere all at once. A symphony of intense sensations. Every cell regulating pleasure is now high. Without their control, floodgates of happy hormones open and fill you up top to bottom with pure bliss. A cup of coffee, a nectar of joy. This song you like, a celestial symphony. A cuddle, pure love from the center of the universe. Wherever you felt pain before, from wounds or aching joints or menstrual cramps or loneliness or self-loathing, it's gone now.
I should show you an example of what it's actually like. Fundamental motivation, I think it's what it was called. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. No, I don't think it was here. I think it was on TikTok. TikTok. Hold on. I don't know. You never know when it... I don't know if there's anything that's not good for the stream to see.
Why you pull?
I don't need to log in. Fundamental motivation. There we go. Let's see if I can find the video now. Here it is. Here, let's watch this real quick, okay? This is kind of what it's like to struggle with drug addiction, all right? This will give you an idea of what it looks like. Why is this, like, off-center? Oh, it's because of the... Okay, never mind.
You gave me a shoulder when I needed it. You showed me love when I wasn't feeling it. You helped me fight when I was giving in. And you made me laugh when I was losing it. 'Cause you are the reason why I'm still hanging on. 'Cause you are the reason why my head is still above water. And if I could, I'd get you the moon and give it to you. And if that coming for you. I'd give my life for you. 'Cause you are the reason why I'm still hanging on. 'Cause you are the reason why my heart is still above water. And if I could, I'd get you the moon and give it to you. And if that was coming for you, I'd give my life for you. 'Cause you are, oh, you are, oh, you are, you are.
All right, so to basically oh my god, that's hard to watch. So basically to describe what's happening here, right? So you come across something, right, and it makes you feel amazing. Can I mute this? Is there a way to mute this? Yeah. So you come across something, it feels amazing. You're like, oh, what's this? Okay, man, that's rough. Proud of you coming back. Appreciate that. Right? Makes you feel amazing, like you're on top of the world, right? You feel you can fly and all that, right? Then you come back down at some point. Well, as the video progresses, every single time you come down, like he starts to get scuffed, right? And the relief becomes less and less, right? Until it gets to the point where it's just, this is what's left, right? And it's just no longer enough. So that's basically, I mean, that's basically what it is. That's drug addiction in a nutshell. Oh my God. All right, let's watch this.
You are simply unable to feel pain or care about it anymore. Like dimming the lights in a cozy room, your brain's alert or from this. Without
So, and that's kind of like what it's describing here, right? You feel amazing at first.
Every cell regulating pleasure is now high. Without their control, floodgates of happy hormones open and fill you up top to bottom with pure bliss. A cup of coffee, a nectar of joy. This song you like, a celestial symphony. A cuddle, pure love from the center of the universe. Wherever you felt pain before, from wounds or aching joints or menstrual cramps or loneliness or self-loathing, it's gone now. You are simply unable to feel pain or care about it anymore. Like dimming the lights in a cozy room, your brain's alert system is put to sleep and you feel at ease, warm and serene. Any
that's the reason why they describe it like having a warm blanket, basically.
stress melts away and dissolves into a dreamlike haze. You're no longer worried or tense about anything. This peace even spreads to your essential organs, slowing your breath, soothing and slowing your intestines.
Look at the poop. The poop is sleeping. The poop is sleeping.
Your chest rises and falls like the gentle waves of a quiet shore. You're sailing a sea of calm and happiness that feels perfect and eternal. The full load of a strong opioid like heroin for the very first time is one of the most amazing feelings humans can experience. For a few hours, you're in heaven. And this is exactly the problem. Your brain is not equipped to handle anything like it. You feel too good. But nothing lasts forever, and now you're in trouble. You just experienced the best feeling you ever felt. Your brain's reward center is completely fried and can't comprehend what happened. If what you did felt this good, it has to be amazing for your survival, and you should do it again. Except,
see, so basically what happens is overriding your survival system, right? Your brain, the dopamine, right? It's like, it's designed to basically say, hey, this is for survival. And now it's thinking internally, it's like, well, this is good for survival, so we should keep seeking it out.
you can never ever feel this good again. This will be your peak life moment forever. You may forever chase this feeling you had this very first time. and now you're back in the regular world, with your insecurities, where your knee hurts, regular tasting coffee, and having to work hard for happy hormones. Comparison is the thief of joy, and now you have your life to compare to a supernova of bliss. The indescribable feeling comes with a damage to your sense of life and self that may be irreparable. And this is not even the worst. Opioids are incredibly addictive, and the addiction among the worst you can have. The supernova of pain.
Playdate, you bring your A game. Ready to score? You bring your
Bro, really? Playdate?
Once you've taken opioids a few times, your brain has had enough. The cells controlling pain and pleasure are constantly high and drowsy, so it boosts them and makes them hyperactive. This happens very fast, sometimes after a few days of use. You've developed an opioid tolerance, toning down all the nice effects you're doing the drugs to achieve. To feel like before, you'll need way higher doses. Now, you're at a crossroads. Quit and have your system go back to normal fairly quickly, or keep going and take more. You take the wrong turn. Over the next few weeks, your brain keeps pushing back and you keep taking more. The effects are not quite what they were, but still mildly nice. Until one day, you can't get opioids and realize your body is now your enemy. Your systems are so hyperactive that they make you feel the opposite of what the drug was doing. Welcome to withdrawal. It all starts with a creeping unease. Instead of being euphoric and happy, nothing feels good anymore. Your coffee is tasteless, your favorite song lame, your loved ones distant. A storm of negative emotions shatters your...
So you're going through, basically you're going through all this, right? The only thing that matters at that point is how you can find the next high, right? So you'll be in a room full of people you care about, or you'll be doing anything that you used to love, and your brain isn't there. You're in a completely different place.
Sea of calm. Serenity is replaced by anxiety and angst, like something terrible is imminent. Your worries, insecurities, and all the fears you suppressed aren't just back, but amplified into an existential crisis. You're so restless you can't sit still. Your heart is beating too fast. You shiver, sweat, hyperventilate. Your pain circuits are now oversensitive, so your bones and muscles ache and hurt for no reason. Old wounds, physical and mental, torture you. You have belly cramps and diarrhea and have to vomit. You're too agitated to rest. A war inside your body that you can't escape. And of course, there's the craving, screaming for you to make it stop. Your mind and body beg for a hit. You can be in this state for up to 2 weeks, or make it stop right away.
Even after 2 weeks. So they're looking at it from like, I guess, a biological stance, right? But also you get to think psychological. Psychologically, you spend years trying to recover from it, right? Because it's like, once you start to get back into reality and you try to heal, everything is delayed. You get delayed gratification. Nothing comes easily. And your brain is like, this all goes away if I just get high.
Okay, so why not just take heroin forever and feel amazing always? The fun thing is that it doesn't work this way. You get tolerant to the nice effects like euphoria faster than to the bad ones like dangerously slow breathing. So it turns from touching the love center of the universe to mostly drowsy numbness and relief from withdrawal. Now you don't take opiates to get to heaven, but to avoid hell. You're in a prison of your mind and body, unable to connect with all the things that could actually make you feel good. Opioid addiction is brutal and extremely hard to escape. It should be pretty clear that you need to be extremely careful with any opioids, and if you have the chance to do it for fun, just don't. There's a very real risk that your life might just be over.
Most of the time, people don't realize what they're getting themselves into, and it doesn't just start like that, right? So, a lot of times, what happens is you start with a prescription. You know, like I was saying before, you start with a prescription. So, I had hurt my neck. Doctor prescribed me Vicodin. Before you know it, you're taking more and more Vicodin. And at some point, it kind of like the opportunity presents itself like, oh, this will feel so much better if you just do this. That's basically how it goes.
And that you'll go through hell. Now that we've seen the heaven and hell of heroin, we can get to fentanyl, the garbage drug. Fentanyl is really garbage heroin. Everything we just described is true in different intensities for most opioids. They can be great, all of them can be hell. Heroin is just sort of the strongest, except it isn't. Fentanyl is around 50 times more potent than heroin, but that doesn't mean 50 times more amazing. Quite the opposite. Fentanyl is extremely good at crossing the blood-brain barrier, the firewall that protects your brain from harmful substances. It enters your brain so easily that you get from 0 to extremely high almost instantly. But just as fast as it enters, it leaves again. A heroin high can last 6 hours. One from fentanyl can fade in minutes. Fentanyl doesn't feel as good as heroin. Instead of
Yeah. So basically, the street term is they say, fentanyl has no legs, and that's all that's out there now.
a supernova of bliss, you mostly get the black hole of nodding away. But it comes with all the withdrawal symptoms.
Jira is now for all teams.
My God, the amount of ads. I'm not paying for YouTube. Go away.
Because fentanyl acts so quickly on your brain, it fries your reward center even more, making it even more addictive than heroin. And since you only need so little of it, it's super easy to overdose and die by accident. It's the deadliest illegal drug in US history by far.
So, I remember when it came around. It came around like almost basically overnight. One day it was like this new stuff, and a bunch of people I knew just died immediately. Right, because they went to use the same amount that they would use from heroin, and it was 50 times stronger. So it just killed a bunch of people immediately. Almost killed me. Almost killed my girlfriend at the time as well.
Between 2013 and 2023, it killed about 400,000 Americans. Fentanyl really is garbage heroin. Too dangerous, too intense, too addictive, too little fun.
Yeah.
But then why are so many people taking it? Well, actually, nobody wants to. Fentanyl is not for users, it's for dealers. The house always wins.
Yep.
Fentanyl is a drug dealer's dream. One truckload could supply the entire US for 1 year. It's cheap to make and easy to smuggle. Heroin needs plants and fields and way more space. So garbage fentanyl just took over the heroin supply. It might have seemed great for heroin addicts at first, and then its trap snapped close. While some people may seek out fentanyl specifically, several studies have found that most opioid users try to avoid it. Even worse, a lot of people who die from fentanyl don't take it willingly. Dealers want people to come back for their product, and by adding a tiny trace of fentanyl to any drug, they can make it more addictive. Even if people don't realize they took an opioid, they'll feel its effects. So dealers started to mix all kinds of drugs with fentanyl, turning the entire US drug market into a minefield where any trip can be your last.
Are you familiar with this reference? What was the name of that? What was the name of that game that you used to have on Windows? I'd never win that game, by the way.
Because way too often, they put a bit too much in their mixes. In 2022,
Minesweeper, that's
the
it.
combination with pills, often counterfeit oxycodone and benzodiazepines, accounted
I could never figure out how to do good in that game.
for about 20% of all fentanyl deaths. In 2023, the US authorities seized 115 million pills with fentanyl. 70% contained a lethal dose. About half of fentanyl overdoses came where you expected the least.
Now, here's the interesting thing about overdose. After you have your first overdose, you're more likely to have overdoses, subsequent overdoses, if that makes sense. So let's see here. How much does your risk of overdose increase after your first overdose? Let's see if that gives information. If I can get, or how about this? How about I do this? Does your risk of overdose increase after your first overdose from opiates? There's no quick answer, is there? Prevent fatal risk factors. Wow, is there not anything from AI or something? My goodness. Let's give that a try. Bro, it's not even giving me the answer. Suggested resources. Well, guess I'm not finding it. What the hell? Oh, go away. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Well, from my understanding, though, your risk of overdose increases after your first overdose, but maybe he'll
From
talk about it.
stimulants like cocaine and meth. A lot of people may have taken these mixes on purpose, but many others just wanted to party.
Like, I've known people that after their first overdose, they continuously, like, they'll use for years without having an overdose. When they finally have that first overdose, they'll just continue having overdoses one after another following that. I've known people that had like 20 plus overdoses, and you can see the effects, right? You can see the effects that it has on them as a person in general. Like, basically what happens with an overdose is your brain is being deprived of oxygen, right? Because you stop breathing. That's why when somebody overdoses, they'll turn purple, right? They're not breathing. They're basically choking, right? Because what happens is that the part of the brain that controls your breathing gets flooded and shut down, basically. But like after like meeting people that have had, you know, overdose after overdose, where it's like 20 plus, 30 plus, right? You can just see as their ability to even think clearly has been affected, you know? It's a shame. Now, let me think. I remember after having my first overdose, it was like that first overdose, all hope and will to live was basically gone, right? So I wasn't suicidal, but I had no hope left in me. It was like everything went bland. It's like a piece of me went missing. It took a long time to get it back, too.
And weren't ready for an opioid surprise. This is especially dangerous because if you've never tried opioids, you can overdose very easily. Fentanyl really has no upsides outside medical use. For dealers and cartels, it means easy profit. For users, it means a worse opioid addiction and a worse life. For people who would never ever try it, it can be a death sentence they didn't see coming. No matter how alluring they are, using opioids even in safe settings is playing with fire on the best of days. Fentanyl is a garbage drug that turns this fire into a raging furnace, increasing the risk of death massively. There's really only one conclusion to draw here. If you have the choice, don't step into the supernova of pleasure, because the danger of it turning into a supernova of pain is just too high.
See, this is part of my problem with the pharmaceutical industry, right? People act like the pharmaceutical industry is without sin, but at the same time, they help create this epidemic, right? Like, this started with prescribed medications. Do you know how many people I've seen buying massive amounts of Percocet because they started off with a back injury and they were prescribed Percocet or Vicodin, and then it got to a point where they needed more and more and more, and then they were buying like just ridiculous amounts every week. Right? And what does this contribute to? It contributes to crime and stuff like that, right? Because if your brain is telling you you need this to survive, your brain is going to tell you do anything it takes to survive. Again?
Getting to the root of an issue requires looking at all sides and thinking critically about the information we consume. In today's world, this can be difficult. This is why Ground News is such an important tool today. We believe in their mission and are proud to have them sponsor this video. In a nutshell, the app and website combine out harder punishments for fentanyl smugglers. You can lead to the waters on the source context to get a sense of information bias. That's actually what's more than ever. In return, part of.
Oh, is it just an advertisement? Okay. That's a pretty good video. I think that describes it pretty well. Right? It's a good way to let people know basically what it is. What is this? Cursed. What is the name of this channel?
Humans are apes with.
Kurzgesagt in a nutshell? What the hell does that mean? Alright, well, I'll sub. That was good. Oh, there's other explanations too. Damn, we'll have to go into some of this stuff. Vaping. Oh my god. I can't stand vaping. No offense to those that vape, but it's like, dude, how can vaping ever be good for you? I think it's obvious that it's not.
Humans are apes with smartphones.
Yeah, anyway. Wow, this channel does great. 9 years ago, 10 million views. Hold on, what's the most recent thing? The dumbest animal alive, 2.7 million. Oh, this thing does. This channel does nothing but consistent good numbers too. Holy crap, 2.5 million. When your body attacks itself, autoimmune. Sexy whales, 8.1 million. Holy crap. Okay. Anyway, I know. Wait, what are you talking about? You talking about the numbers? Overdose. Bro, I don't know why I can't. Let's see here. Put that in the middle. I don't know why I can't find information about. There. Why I can't find information about does your first opioid overdose increase the risk of subsequent overdoses? Factors associated with opioid overdose after initial. All right, let's see this. Factors associated with opioid overdose after initial opioid prescription. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Damn it. Opioid overdose. Key factors. Blah, blah, blah. Worldwide, in 2019, about 600,000 deaths were attributed to, close 80% of those deaths were related to opioids. My goodness. Fentanyl is a potent synthetic opioid. Its use is approximately 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. I can't find any information about this. This is a well-known thing, too. Working within the field. That's crazy. Okay. Okay, whatever. I just added a bunch of different stuff into my, what do you call it? Onto my feed here. Top 10 mistakes to avoid. Whoops. Why are American streetlights turning purple? Good question. The worst case scenario for AI. Trump reveals a big UFO secret live. Is that happening right now? The problem is it's hard to watch this stuff because it would just like be, look at, this has been going on for how many hours now? Fucking 11 hours. Like sitting here and watching this is mind-numbing. You need to find the highlights. Who's this? I told you something big was coming. Now it's here. 7 hours ago. Let's see here. Next time you buy the following beers, which are you most likely to buy from? Probably Amazon. None of the above. There you go.
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
This seems
Nobody
like a scene
listened.
in a movie
Nobody
where
listened.
the robots are gonna fucking take over and you're freaking me out. Nobody listened.
Nobody listened.
Elon Musk has been warning us for years.
Of course they didn't
Artificial
listen.
intelligence is
Because so basically, what's happening is the market is controlled by profits, right? And what's a good way to increase efficiency and profits is to have a computer program do it for you, instead of paying an individual person to do what might take them 8 hours of work to do. Could take AI, 30 seconds to accomplish or something. You know what I mean? Or minutes. And it's not even like AI is cheap to function, right? Because what does it cost to cool AI alone?
moving
Anyway.
faster and with greater consequences than anyone expects. He called it summoning the demon. He predicted it could become more dangerous than nuclear weapons. For years, it sounded like exaggeration, but today those warnings no longer feel distant. The age of AI is no longer an idea on the horizon. It has arrived, and Musk is not alone anymore. One of the clearest and most unsettling voices to echo his concerns is Yuval Noah Harari, a historian who believes AI is not simply another invention, but the single most disruptive force in human history. From Musk's fear to Harari's urgency.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure you can control the demon? Didn't work out.
When Musk warned about AI, many dismissed him as alarmist. Yet what he was pointing to is now undeniable. Artificial intelligence has moved beyond being just another machine. It is becoming a force that can act in.
Okay, here's my problem with Elon Musk is like, yeah, he does a lot of great things and he's amazing and all this stuff, but at the same time, like, the dude's literally creating a brain chip. And it's like, yeah, it could be used for good, but how biblical does that sound to you? I don't know.
Independently, capable of influencing systems in ways that no one fully controls. This is exactly where Harari takes the conversation further. He stresses that we are not dealing with tools anymore. We are dealing with agents, entities that can learn, adapt, and make choices on their own. The shift Musk foresaw is no longer theoretical.
Do you think that there's a real danger that if we mishandle artificial intelligence, it could literally wipe us out?
Yes, and it's not only me. Many of the experts in the field, including the people who developed this technology, share some of the same fears.
Harari draws.
So, I mean, imagine AI has the ability to use itself to improve itself. Does that make sense? Right? So it can, I don't know. I feel like it's a snowball effect. It starts off really small, but as it snowballs faster and faster, becomes larger and larger.
Draws a sharp line between the inventions of the past and what we face now. The printing press, the atom bomb, the airplane, these were powerful, but always in human hands. Artificial intelligence changes that balance.
I know. And who was it? There was somebody in the chat the other day. I think you were here for that. They were all about AI. It's self-learning. How would it not? I know, it's pretty scary. Not only that, but like they can create. So we're very fragile, realistically. Right. And the thing that made us enable us to survive is the fact that we have intelligence. Right. So we're able to create tools and stuff like that. Now our tools are able to create tools for itself. Right. Look at the robot here. Right. Imagine getting into a fist fight with that thing. Right. So.
Tool responds only to the person using it. An agent, however, is different. It sets its own goals, adjusts when conditions change, and carries out actions that cannot be fully predicted in advance. If you can predict every step, it is not truly AI, it is simply automation. This is why agency is so profound. A calculator will never surprise you, but an AI agent can. It can generate ideas you never thought of, take approaches you did not foresee, and adapt faster than you can respond. Multiply that unpredictability across billions of agents, and you begin to understand why Harari says this is a revolution unlike any other in history. And the first places where this revolution is already showing itself are on the battlefield and in the boardroom. The battlefield and the boardroom. The results of this shift are already showing. Harari points to the Gaza conflict as one of the first real AI-driven wars. Algorithms were not just assisting with intelligence or logistics, they were...
I feel like I got my green screen working so well. It took so much work. It took like a year's worth of freaking trying to refine it, by the way. Just saying, I just like pop out of nowhere, you know?
influencing decisions about which targets to strike and which buildings to destroy. Choices that once required a general's judgment were now shaped by lines of code. And while that is alarming, Harari argues the even greater battlefield lies in the financial system. Finance is pure information, and information is what AI consumes best. Already, most trades on Wall Street are executed by algorithms. The next step is clear. Autonomous AI.
Yeah, I mean, how many like ads do you see for like AI trading now? Right? There's actual apps you can download and stuff like that.
Agents will begin creating new financial strategies and products so complex that no human can understand them. At first, the profits will look extraordinary. Markets will celebrate. Politicians will hesitate to interfere. But when a collapse comes, there may not be a single human being capable of explaining what went wrong. Unlike 2008, when at least a handful of experts could trace the crisis back to subprime mortgages, this time the damage may be beyond human comprehension.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right? So it's moving in ways that are so complex that we wouldn't be able to connect the dots the way AI could, because AI can see everything basically simultaneously, right? So it's able to process all this information, see it all, process it all, and understand where the dots are connected, right? Be able to create a crash if it wanted to. That's a risk in a way that we wouldn't be able to comprehend, right? So is AI going to be the Antichrist? Ever hear that theory? Right? The Antichrist will actually be AI. Well, whatever. So it's possible.
And this raises an even deeper question about AI itself.
And imagine if everybody's got like these brain chips from what do they call them? I forget what Elon called them now. Neuralink. Imagine if everybody had Neuralink. So now we're all linked. I'm not taking it. I'm sorry. I'll die with my pathetic humanity. But like, imagine everybody, yeah, fuck that. Seriously. I think there's going to be a struggle between those that are willing to accept it and those that aren't, right? But imagine everybody being linked in. How at that point, right, when you're linked in like that, how can you trust your own thoughts anymore? What's right and what's wrong, right? Your logic may change. And if you have AI also with its hands, metaphorically, in your brain, controlling certain thoughts or things that may occur to you. I mean, it sounds to me like you could easily become a slave, even if there's fail-safes.
Whether its intelligence can ever truly be trusted as truth. Section 4, intelligence without truth.
The basic problem with AI is that it is an alien agent and therefore unpredictable and untrustworthy.
Harari also dismantles a common misconception. Many assume that if AI is highly intelligent, it must also be closer to truth. He reminds us that intelligence and truth are not the same. Human beings prove this point every day. We are capable of remarkable feats of science and art, yet we also cling to conspiracy theories, myths, and illusions.
What's to stop the AI from hacking the fail-safes? Exactly. Right? And if it's in your brain, your fail-safe, whatever, could be hacked, and you could be convinced that everything's as it should be. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? The whole thing is just, to me, it's just scary. I don't know. It's not really something I want to screw with. Oh, look, I'm starting to get notifications of how classic radiation quiz. Can you solve it? Anyway, I'm going to have to do some job searching later. I'm going to be working all day today.
That no other species would invent. Intelligence allows us to solve problems, but it does not shield us from delusion. Now imagine this problem magnified. A super intelligent AI could also become super delusional, pursuing strategies with incredible efficiency while based on flawed assumptions. That risk becomes even more dangerous once we no longer have the ability to question or interpret its reasoning. This is what Musk has long feared when he warned that AI might destroy humanity, not out of malice, but through simple misalignment. Harari explains why that outcome is possible. Intelligence, no matter how advanced, does not guarantee wisdom, which is why the conversation must also include responsibility and how humans decide to guide AI's enormous potential. Section 5, potential and responsibility. Still, Harari does not deny that AI could transform the world for the better. He imagines a healthcare system where everyone has access to the equivalent of the best doctor on earth available at any moment. Education could be tailored to each
You ever hear of
student,
that book,
regardless of
George Orwell's 1984, is it? Like, I wonder how similar what's happening today with AI and surveillance and all that is to that book now. they call it an Orwellian future or something, right? What if there's a video on that I could watch?
Language or geography. Labor shortages could be solved in ways that improve lives rather than exhaust them. Yet potential does not equal destiny. Harari's warning is that AI will not automatically serve humanity's best interests. Left unguided, it could just as easily destabilize societies, undermine democracies, or widen inequalities. The responsibility, therefore, cannot be delegated. As he puts it, we cannot rely on AI to make these choices for us. Ethics and values must remain firmly in human hands. Musk echoes the same urgency when he calls for regulation and oversight, knowing that without them, the risks may easily outweigh the rewards. And to grasp just how much hangs in the balance, Harari asks us to rethink the very nature of history itself, the open future. Harari also reframes how we think about history itself. For centuries, people believed history followed a straight path toward a destined conclusion, or repeated itself in cycles. Harari argues that neither is true. History is open-ended, and AI makes it even more so. The future of jobs, for example, is now uncertain. Coding, once seen as the essential skill of the 21st century, could be obsolete in a decade if AI writes its own software.
I know a bunch of people that used AI to create bots and stuff like that for Discord, and it's like, and then when you have a problem with the bot, you just punch it in. Hey, here's what's happening when I do this, and then ChatGPT tells you how to fix it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of jobs are going to go obsolete, including probably like content creation and stuff like that, even
software. Professions from
like think about like digital creators, right? Or not digital creators, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody who creates like art or whatever for logos, stuff like that, right? Well, AI can probably do it much quicker and cheaper. So as a company, am I going to pay somebody all this money to come up with something, or am I just going to save a lot of time and money and have AI create it for me? It's a problem. All right. And I don't believe a solution will ever be like a socialist type program where everybody gets paid an equal amount or whatever. Because it never works. I don't know. And I don't think it ever will. Right? There's always going to be somebody at the top that's going to take advantage of it. Right? There's always going to be the ultra rich. Not yet. But AI can create a robot that will. I think everything's at risk. Think about it. They even got AI, like people using AI like therapy now. Which is, to me, is just insane. I don't know. I feel like the human experience is necessary, not just a replication of it.
Journalism to law may face similar upheaval. The only certainty is adaptability. Survival in this new world will depend not on mastering one trade for life, but on the ability to keep learning and reinventing ourselves continuously. Harari's advice is blunt. Do not prepare your children for one career. Prepare them to face constant change. And while Harari's perspective is critical, he is not the only voice adding urgency to this debate. Beyond Musk and Harari,
we're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
You believe they can understand?
Yes.
You believe they are intelligent?
Yes.
You believe these systems...
All right, man. All right. Yeah, enjoy your dinner. Take care.
...have experiences of their own and can make decisions based on those experiences?
In the same sense as people do, yes.
Are they conscious?
I think they probably don't have much self-awareness at present.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, 118.
So in that sense, I don't think they're conscious.
Musk and Harari may be the loudest voices, but they are not the only ones. Geoffrey Hinton, often called the godfather of AI, resigned from Google to warn about the dangers of the very systems he helped create. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, has urged governments to regulate AI before it grows beyond control. Leaders at companies like DeepMind and Anthropic have admitted that AI could pose risks on the scale of nuclear weapons or pandemics. Different experts, different institutions, yet their message aligns. AI is advancing advancing faster than society can adapt, and the time to act is shrinking. And while experts debate publicly, the reality is that AI is already embedding itself silently into the systems we rely on every day. Section 8, the silent
Yeah, and it keeps improving so much faster too.
takeover, already underway.
Artificial intelligence is presenting a real challenge to the American workforce. A fresh new report shows more than 10,000 jobs have been cut so far this year due to the rise of generative AI in private companies. Bank of America's CEO talked about the impact of AI on job growth on Face the Nation Sunday.
The popular imagination often jumps to robots in the streets, but Harari insists the real revolution is far quieter. It is already happening in the systems we interact with daily. AI curates what news you read, influences whether your job application is seen, decides who receives a loan, and even helps guide military logistics. Each of these systems seems small on its own, but together they represent a sweeping takeover of decision-making in human life. By the time the average person realizes how deeply AI is embedded, the transformation may already be irreversible. This is the reality Musk warned of, and it is the urgency Harari demands we face now, which brings us to the most important point of
that one. I don't know if you've ever seen this one, but she's creepy. Just I never know how much of it's theatrics. Like she talks about ending the human race or something like that, right? But like, is that just something that they like made her say just for like to put on a show? You know?
Of all, the choice that remains in our hands. The choice is ours. Musk sounded the alarm when he said something big was coming. Harari shows us the shape of that reality now that it has arrived. Billions of AI agents are beginning to make decisions across finance, war, and governance. Their intelligence does not guarantee truth. Their power does not ensure wisdom. And the revolution they represent could either elevate humanity or destabilize it completely. The future remains open. Nothing is predetermined. The question is whether we will choose to take responsibility or allow the momentum of technology to decide for us. And as with every great turning point in history, the big picture reveals just how high the stakes truly are. AI is not just another product of innovation. It is a turning point in the story of humanity. Unlike a new gadget or a faster machine, it is weaving itself into the very fabric of our economies, our democracies, and our lives. Musk warned of the danger. Harari explained the depth of it. Others have joined the chorus. Together they form a call to action that cannot be ignored. The age of AI has arrived, and the world is watching. Whether it becomes the greatest achievement of humankind or its gravest mistake will depend not on the brilliance of the machines, but on the wisdom of the people guiding them. If you enjoyed this story, we've selected 2 more videos we think you'll find fascinating. Check out our recommended picks on the left and right of your screen.
Oh, I'm glad that you selected 2. I didn't do too many views, 1,200 views. It's already started, and you're not supposed to notice what the New World Order. All right, I'm going to run to the bathroom, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do from there. Star Citizen officially went too far after making 800 million 3 months ago. Oh, okay, I've seen that already. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to run to the bathroom. Let me put on some, oh, what the hell is this? Yeah, let's get rid of that. Yeah. Some Halo music. BRB.
Your cover's
I know it's too easy to run away, to run away. I know you wanted this, I never wanted this to end, but now we're going down. Whoa, picking up the pieces that we left here, we just left here. No way of knowing where to go now, go now, go now. Where to go now, go now, go now. No way of knowing where to go. No way of knowing where to go. No way of knowing where to go now, go now, go now. Where to go now, go now, go now. All my senses told me it's the wrong way to go, but I don't know if it's worth it. Oh, it's always the wrong day to show, and I don't
Oh, excuse me.
know where to go now, go now, go now. Where to go now, go now, go now. No way of knowing where to go now, go.
All right, I'm back. Hold up. Yo, what's going on, brother? You caught me in a quiet point. What are you up to? You! What a better. You just woke up? Oh, really? Is it early morning wake up for you? I've been, oh my God, I've been getting up like later and later every day. So I was up at 4 a.m. this morning. It's just not good. I kind of like being up super, super early in the morning. Like, not even early in the morning. I liked being up at like 12 at night. What are you planning? You going what do you got going for today? I was actually just going through and watching some YouTube videos, shit like that, because I don't really know what I feel like playing, honestly. So it's just kind of like hanging out, watching videos, stuff like that. Studying. Oof. Ugh. Me too. I'm studying too. I'm studying existence or something. UFO hearing. There's been a UFO hearing live going on for 12 hours now. I was trying to determine whether I should like go exploring on if I should go exploring on like No Man's Sky or something like that. I mean, I know everything. God, everything gets very repetitive, but I am also at the beginning of the story again too. And I could either do it in VR or I could just do it in flat screen. And I'm like, oh, what do I feel like playing? You know what I mean? Like, do I feel like playing something? What is this, a liberal hive mind? Roblox, hide this. Get free electricity forever. Imagine that. VR in 2035. Hacking AI is too easy. This should be illegal. I'm just like looking over a bunch of topics. Arc Raiders has ruined gaming for me. I've heard that before about other games as well. What's this about?
Step into Wix Studio. Kickoff project.
This is 33 Thomas Street, right in the heart of Manhattan. A towering, windowless monolith, pitch black at night. A 20th century fortress.
How is life going on? It's going okay, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna have to go out and do some work later. So I got my first donation for. Oh, I don't have it on here, do I? Let me add the bar on here. It's, I think, browser. Let's see over. Oh, here it is. Okay. And then let me add also my sub counter. Hold on a second.
Built to withstand a nuclear blast. A skyscraper.
So basically this donation will go towards like any homeless or whatever needy. So so far I get $10 donated towards it. So if somebody were to donate to this, that would go directly towards like buying a meal or something for somebody who's homeless.
To be inhabited by machines. Behind its walls lies a secret mass surveillance center. It's believed to be one of the NSA's most critical spy hubs on US soil. It's a key location for some of the agency's biggest operations. From here, the agency has been spying on the entire world. For decades, its true purpose was hidden, until 2 whistleblowers pulled back the curtain. We got up close to this mysterious structure and couldn't resist trying to sneak inside.
The security guard is still there. She has not moved.
This is the insane story of the NSA spy scraper.
Did you say it's a real story?
Still there. She has not moved.
This is the insane story of the NSA spy
insane story.
Skyscraper. Parts of this video are based on investigative reporting by The Intercept. We highly recommend checking it out.
I am off the subway and I am now heading to the building. Oh, actually, I see it right now, and it is huge.
We wanted to know everything about this building, so we sent a friend to check it out.
Hi, I'm Sharik, and I am a filmmaker. Today, I am about to go check out 33 Thomas Street. So I am heading there now, and I'm taking you guys with me.
Sharik
Does anybody actually know what it looks like on the inside of that?
is probably on some list now, so show her some love in the comments.
Do you know what's in this building? I'm no idea. You don't? Okay.
I've always thought about this building. There's no windows, there's only like vents. I don't know what it is. It's kind of strange. I have no clue.
Some people think it might be the NSA, like on one of like the biggest surveillance hubs.
Yeah, it probably is.
33 Thomas Street is unlike any other building in Manhattan. The skyscraper is located here.
Honestly, I didn't even know that building existed.
In the Tribeca area. It was built in 1969 and completed in 1974. While it's not as tall as many of the other towers around, it still stands out. The building is about 170 meters tall, with 29 floors above the ground, plus 3 underground levels. There's a strange beauty
Wait,
to
how do they know that? Is that public knowledge?
its design, fascinating enough that it draws you in, yet so intimidating it makes you uncomfortable. When you stand before it, one thing immediately stands out. It is entirely windowless.
This building literally has no windows. Like, it's very odd. Also, there's just really not a lot of people on this street, like, at all.
Peeking inside is almost impossible. On levels 10 and 29, there are several large openings, massive air vents that hint at what might be going on inside. 33 Thomas Street is often described as one of the most secure buildings in the US. The facade is sealed with flame-treated Swedish granite, a material known for its exceptional durability and resistance. In the event of a disaster, the building can operate entirely off-grid for 2 weeks. Almost 1 million liters of fuel are on hand to power backup generators. Food and water reserves are stocked to sustain 1,500 people. It's also equipped with its own wastewater systems and decontamination showers. If an atomic blast would hit New York City without destroying the building, the inside would be shielded from the nuclear fallout. 33 Thomas Street truly is a 20th
Okay, so that's where you want to go if that ever happens then. Okay, noted. Try to make our way into that building.
century fortress. John Carl Warnock, the architect behind it, was best known for designing bold, unconventional buildings in the 60s and 70s. This is what his other buildings look like. The style is called brutalism, a design philosophy centered on raw materials, stark geometric shapes, and function. Brutalism emerged after World War II, driven by the need for affordable, practical structures. Warnock was also influenced by contextualism, an architectural theory focused on harmonizing buildings with their surroundings. 33 Thomas Street, however, doesn't blend in, it haunts. By day, it stands out.
Look at this, the building on the side of it. It's kind of crazy looking in itself.
By day, it stands out. By night, it becomes a shadow, almost vanishing into the darkness.
So I came back at night and
weird.
I wanted to see if this place was still as spooky as it is during the day.
And it's more spooky.
And it absolutely is.
But what was it actually built for?
Morning.
God.
It's the late 1960s. As the world becomes more connected, the demand for efficient telecommunication is expanding rapidly. Most communication still runs through analog systems, But that technology is reaching its limit, especially for long-distance phone calls. There's a need for something new. Time to escape old physical boundaries and technological limitations. Kind of, like working remotely. Away from your machine while still being able to access it with no lag, even in poor Wi-Fi conditions. Transfer files, edit your videos in a nice cafe, watch a render fail in immeasurable frustration from a beach chair. With AnyDesk, you can access any device from anywhere. The connection is so fast, it feels like you're sitting right in front of the remote machine. And it works on every platform. Windows,
an ad?
industry still
It was an ad.
Time T, the Long Lines, one of the country's largest telecommunications giants. The company has a special division called the Long Lines Department.
In any case, it's Long Lines that hooks all the local telephone companies into the national network.
Its infrastructure stretches across the entire country, connecting people from New York to Los Angeles. In order to meet the growing demand for long-distance phone calls, new data centers are needed to route calls from one place to another. As AT&T's network keeps growing, 33 Thomas Street is set to become one of the company's most important hubs in the US, capable of processing millions of phone calls per day. Over time, the building becomes part of the Long Lines Department, earning its other nickname, the Long Lines Building. In some of Warnick's original design documents, the building is simply referred to as Project X, a visionary monument with modern capabilities.
Project 10, probably.
With architecture that perfectly serves the needs of machines.
Anytime there's like an X in any of the stuff, it ends up being a 10, Roman numeral.
And unlike humans, machines don't need windows, just powerful ventilation systems to handle the heat they generate and keep temperatures stable. 33 Thomas Street is packed with tech. These are some of the only publicly available photos taken inside the building. Racks filled with electronics, rooms packed with telephone equipment, massive rows of batteries, likely part of the backup power system. At the heart of it all, 3 enormous 4ESS switches. Each switch is made up of multiple individual machines. At the time, they are the largest high-capacity digital switches ever built, and the first system to route phone calls digitally. This is how they work. Imagine you live in New York and you want to call your niece in California. When you pick up the phone and dial her number, your local phone system routes the call to a central hub, in this case, 33 Thomas Street. Inside, your voice is digitized and passed through a switch that sends the calls to its destination. The 4ESS switching machines are smart. They automatically select the best path to route your call across the network, a major innovation back then. Now the backbone takes over. Microwave relay towers transmit the signal from one to the next, spaced roughly 30 miles apart. Your call hops from tower to tower until it reaches another hub, with the same type of switch in California. At the end of the line, your niece picks up, and just like that, you're connected. Over time, the relay towers vanished. Fiber optic cables took over, carrying much more capacity, but the need for central hubs remained. By the 1990s, an average of 175 million calls per day passed through 33 Thomas Street. With millions in and around New York City increasingly depending on uninterrupted communication, this facility had to be absolutely secure. The Long Lines building became the nerve center of communication in New York City. In fact, it became indispensable. September 17, 1991, the middle of the night. A power failure at 33 Thomas Street shuts down half the phone traffic. Calls in and out of New York go dead. Air traffic control also goes down at 3 major airports. Flights are thrown into chaos, some delayed by as much as 4 hours. The power failure was caused by a combination of technical and human error. 2 4ESS switches shut down completely. A third is partially affected. Of course, 33 Thomas Street is prepared for this, or at least it should be. But due to yet another technical failure, the backup generators—
Oh, wait a minute. So all this is basically is a phone system? Is that what I'm hearing?
—don't kick in. As a result, over 5 million calls are blocked, and air traffic communication to nearly 400 airports is disrupted. On this day, 33 Thomas Street proves just how critical it is to the nation's telephone infrastructure. Sure would be nice to tap that.
What? Sorry, the kid in me just jumped on that one.
Infrastructure. Sure would be nice to tap that.
Sure would be nice to tap that. Was that a pickup line?
9/11 changes the U.S. forever. In response, the government doubles down on the war on terror. Within days, the Patriot Act passes, granting intelligence agencies broad powers to expand mass surveillance. The NSA's primary role is to gather foreign intelligence, but to do that, they need partners. It's 2003. This is Mark Klein, a technician at AT&T. His job is to maintain equipment at one of the company's internet and telephone hubs in San Francisco. One day he notices something strange on the floor below, a door with no handles. It just has a sign on it.
Festool power tools are built better to...
Yeah.
641A. The room sits directly below the 7th floor server room, where internet traffic from millions of people flows every day. Klein is curious. He wants to know what's behind that door. Eventually he comes across the building plans, and slowly he starts putting the pieces together. Room 641A is wired directly to the internet room upstairs. Klein discovers that it houses a device known as a splitter. A splitter copies internet traffic, the very data flowing through the servers above. Emails, phone calls, pictures, videos, the communications of millions, all duplicated and sent into room 641A. Mark Klein realizes he's uncovered something huge, but for now he stays silent. He's scared and unsure if anyone would even believe him.
Would that be a surprise? Why would nobody believe him? Would that be a surprise?
In 2005, news breaks. President George W. Bush has quietly authorized the NSA to spy on American citizens. This is the moment Mark Klein decides to go public. With the help of a digital rights group, he files a class action lawsuit against AT&T on behalf of everyone whose data was secretly monitored. But in 2008, the case gets dismissed. Congress passes the FISA Amendments Act, a law that retroactively legalizes the surveillance program.
This is the shit that they do. Right? A law that retroactively legalizes it. Right? So what they do is they say, well, technically it wasn't legal at the time, but we're going to change that law retroactively. So yes, it actually was.
And grants AT&T legal immunity. Act. A law 2008, the case gets dismissed. Congress passes the FISA Amendments Act, a law that retroactively legalizes the surveillance program and grants AT&T legal immunity. Still, Klein's...
So why, okay, so this is what makes me question, like, why are they allowing AT&T immunity? Right? So who's using that information? Why would the government want to do that?
Actions leave a mark. He exposed Room 641A and revealed that AT&T was helping the US government spy on its own customers.
There you go.
And his revelations are just the beginning, the calm before a much greater storm.
Right? So what? We now have no right to privacy anymore. I mean, this obviously that changed some time ago, but...
In 2013, a 29-year-old NSA analyst tells his supervisors he's taking a couple of weeks off. He says it's for epilepsy treatment. In reality, he boards a plane to Hong Kong. Here, he will leak top-secret NSA files to the press and inform the public about sweeping privacy violations.
Former CIA
I knew it. What's his name again?
employee and computer
The U.S. is on the hunt. He
Top
scored
secret information
vast
about the
U.S.
NSA
monitoring
leaker
program.
Edward Snowden.
Edward
Snowden. That's who it was. I knew it. I knew that was going to be him.
Shares thousands of classified documents with journalists. Highly sensitive material that offers a rare look inside the NSA's surveillance machine. The Snowden files reveal something staggering. The NSA hasn't just been spying on U.S. citizens, but also on politicians, allies, foreign governments, and even world leaders. A global scandal erupts, exposing the vast scope of the agency's mass surveillance program. Journalists around the world begin working together, combing through the documents and gradually releasing them to the public. Over the following years, pieces of the puzzle come together, one at a time. And in 2016, reporters at The Intercept go public with a shocking discovery. Intelligence agencies use codenames to conceal sensitive operations. In the leaked NSA files, some of these codenames appear again and again. One of them is Blarney, a surveillance program focused on intercepting foreign communications flowing into the US. Another program is called Fairview, a partnership between the NSA and a major unnamed US telecom operation. And then there's this, Titan Point. The leaked files identified Titan Point as a secret NSA surveillance site, hidden in the heart of New York City. Titan Point appears to house highly specialized technology, including so-called foreign gateway switches, with Rimrock access. Rimrock is code for 4 ESS switches. And then there's Lithium. According to the files, Lithium is a partner responsible for supervising Titan Point. Earlier reporting had already revealed what Lithium really stands for, AT&T, the owner of 33 Thomas Street. Journalists at The Intercept start connecting the dots, and they conclude that Titan Point is a codename for the Long Lines building. Their investigation reveals that NSA has been using 33 Thomas Street as a major mass surveillance site. The building even shows up in a leaked travel guide meant for NSA agents. They're told to prepare cover stories for both family members and co-workers. Agents must also use a cover
Is it all the information that Edward Snowden released? Is that what this is?
vehicle provided by the agency when visiting a site like 33 Thomas Street. According to the handbook, the NSA works closely with the FBI, which handles security at Titan Point. Conveniently, the FBI has offices right next to the skyscraper.
So here is 33 Thomas Street, and there is the FBI building.
The guide also describes how to enter the building. You literally just ring the buzzer.
This is an intercom here, and it's locked. And I was told I could not, and I cannot take any videos from the front.
Sharik actually caught someone leaving the building.
Hi, can I ask you a quick question just for 1 minute?
This is the first time I've ever been in this building. There's actually not supposed to be people in here. I just went inside and that was like the first thing I noticed. I was like, where's natural light? I don't, people may notice my voice, but I'll just say this much. I think there's only a few people in there and it was pretty much empty.
Probably just a random person, or an NSA agent with their cover story on lock. We will never know. But what
That's
exactly
interesting.
is the NSA doing here?
He said there's probably only a few people in there, which is probably true, right? I mean, it is so eerie. I feel like there's so much going on in the world that we don't know about. Like, you just don't know. You don't really know what's pulling the strings, you know?
According to The Intercept, there's a hidden room inside 33 Thomas Street, one that closely resembles Room 641A. In the Snowden leaks, it's referred to as a Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility, or SCIF for short. This room enables the
Sensitive Compartment Information Facility.
NSA to tap into virtually all
SIF.
communications passing through the building.
Skiff.
First, there are the 4 ESS switches inside the building, the routers that process millions of phone calls each day. Then, if you look at the rooftop of the building, you'll see massive satellite dishes. It's the only location in New York City where AT&T holds an official license for satellite earth stations.
Nice.
These dishes are likely part of Skid Row, a surveillance system designed to intercept internet data passing between satellites. They most likely capture video calls and video conferences. All intercepted data is funneled through an AT&T interface, then sent directly to NSA headquarters in Maryland. The NSA can then access...
Yeah, I think it's wild that they were like secretly recording everybody's data, which was not okay. And then what happened was when it was brought up, they were like, oh, let's just change the law back to when they started doing it, saying it is okay. And there ain't shit we could do about it. We're supposed to trust like our politicians, right?
Sit through a system called XKeyscore.
I can see who you talked to. I can see who your friends on Facebook are. I can see the text messages you sent. I can read the emails you wrote.
The NSA has developed its own search engine, a kind of Google for spies. XKeyscore lets NSA agents dig deep into anyone's life. Every bit of data captured from 33 Thomas Street and other hubs is at their fingertips, ready to be searched and analyzed.
Let's say I want to read John.
Well, here's the thing, like going back to like the AI stuff we were watching before. So imagine they task AI with that now. Find anything you can. AI in an instant, right? Finds everything it needs to. Presents it. Here you go. Here's all the damning evidence you need. Right? So what that means too is all those emails and stuff like that coming through from politicians and stuff that's wrong, that shit's all been recorded probably, right? It's somewhere. Right? How come we never hear about it?
His email. I enter his email address, and it sends that search to every one of these sensor networks around the world. And they search their local database of metadata and content. The content of all communications that pass through these sites.
AT&T cooperated with the NSA in many instances. Internal documents even praise the company for its extreme willingness to help with NSA's missions. In 2003, a secret court order allowed AT&T to help the...
And why wouldn't AT&T want to do that? You know what I mean? That helps AT&T stick around, basically. Like, why wouldn't they help the government, right?
NSA wiretap all internet communications from the United Nations headquarters in New York. To this day, AT&T never publicly acknowledged its cooperation with the NSA, or what happens inside 33 Thomas Street.
I'm still very curious what it will be like to go close, but the security guard is still there. She has not moved at all.
We reached out to AT&T for comment, but received no response. The
Yeah, of course.
2018 report by The Intercept suggests that there are.
See, they're not going to give a shit either. They're not going to give a response because they don't have to. They don't care, right? The company as a whole, or the people sitting at the top of the company, they don't give a shit how we feel about it or nothing, right? The only thing they're controlled by is money, financial interests. The rest of it doesn't matter what people think if it's not affecting their finances.
Other sites across the U.S., operated by AT&T, that the NSA may be using for surveillance. Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, D.C., they all look alike. Strange, windowless buildings. Architecture, not meant for people, but for machines. Machines hungry for the data of millions. To us, 33 Thomas Street, with its mysterious humming presence, remains the most interesting one of them all, and also the most terrifying.
That's so curious seeing stuff like that, because it's like, and then you don't even actually know what's going on inside those buildings too, right? I mean, for all we know, there's a secret cyborg freaking army being built inside the damn building, for all we know. You know what I mean? Like, you don't there could be like a whole underground tunnel system I'm just throwing shit out there, but like there could be a whole underground tunnel system that's transporting the cyborgs out, and they're preparing an underground attack on all human race, for all you know. And AI could be controlling it all. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's going on. We have no idea. I think nobody actually knows what's going on in this world at this point. It's just so shrouded in secrecy at this point. Did they add new caves in Star Citizen? Excuse me.
He actually might.
I don't know if I actually feel like playing any video games. I'm not gonna lie. Just hanging out and watching stuff. Life, Death, and Life Again Beyond 4.3.1. Yeah, sure. None of the above. There you
This
go.
one graphics card costs more than most people's entire gaming PC, including mine. And it's not like it was cheap either, because this thing isn't just a gaming GPU. It was built for AI and massive servers, not just for playing games. But if it's so powerful, why doesn't Nvidia want you to know about it? Well, that's exactly what we're finding out today. This is Nvidia's $2,000 secret GPU, and we're putting it to the ultimate test to see if it can really run anything. But what
How is it a secret if you get your hands on it?
even is this secret GPU, and how good is it, you might be asking? Well, to quickly answer
I like how simplistic it is, to be honest. It's really cool. It's so sleek. How does this thing cool with that one fan?
the first question, what I've got right here is Nvidia's RTX 4500 Ada generation. Not something you can just go out and buy, let alone something that you've ever even heard of before. Matter of fact, I've never even heard of this GPU until last week, despite it releasing in August of 2023, right after all the other 40 series cards. But you might be wondering how I got my hands on the thing. However, I don't think I am able to tell you without getting my channel permanently terminated. But all I'm gonna say is that I did it very legally and totally did not steal it, because that would be bad and also dangerous. Regardless, this metal sandwich launched at $2,250, and you can still find it for around $2,200 used and closer to $2,500 brand new, similarly to the 4090. What's different from the 4090 is its entire appearance. It's basically a perfect rectangle, apart from this removable bracket, which makes it very easy to hang dry your graphics card after you wash it.
Introducing Taco Bell's $3
Sweet. Taco Bell. Come on.
Being a 2-slot GPU, it's actually pretty small relative to how much performance you're getting. Including the bracket, it's about 34 centimeters long, 13 centimeters wide, and 4 centimeters tall. For my American audience who may not understand how long 34 centimeters is, it's about as long as Skelectron's forearm, 1 Lara Croft Funko Pop wide, and about 3 Skyflakes tall. And as you'd probably expect, it is absolutely one of the strongest 2-slot GPUs in the world, and 100% the fastest one I've ever had my hands on, even compared to the $4,000 RTX A6000 that I optimized for gaming 11 months ago. Although it may seem very simple and even boring from the outside because it's literally a black rectangle with a fan, what's inside the GPU is where things get really interesting. First off, it has 24 gigabytes of VRAM, and there's only one gaming GPU in the world that has more than this. So it is definitely not a joke. And there's only one gaming GPU
Oh, the 5090, okay.
in the world that has more than this. So it is definitely not a joke. Now you might think that this much VRAM is completely overkill, but when it comes to doing professional tasks, it's a lifesaver. The intro for this video, for example, uses effects that cause low memory issues even with the 16 gigs of VRAM on my RTX 4080, despite it barely even using 30% of its compute power. 24 gigabytes is also huge for 3D renders, physics simulations, and AI workloads. On top of that, it has the same GPU die as the 4080, 4080 Super, and 4070 Ti Super. Not to be confused with the regular 4070 Ti, which it strangely shares a lot more in common with than the other GPUs I just mentioned. And of course, sharing the same GPU die as those cards, it also has the same features as any other 40 series card, with plenty of RT cores, very efficient encoders, support for DLSS 3 upscaling, and frame generation. So if it has similar specs to the 4070 Ti, why is it so much more expensive, and why doesn't anyone talk about it? Now you might assume that the reason that
I feel like he's just talking in circles, though. You haven't actually given us any actual information or tested anything out yet. You're just continuously talking. Like, I understand that people are trying to hit a certain point, like how long the videos are and stuff like that. But at the same time, this is annoying. Like, get to the point.
the 4500 ADA is so much more expensive than the 4070 Ti is because of the VRAM. And I wouldn't blame you for that, because the biggest difference between these two cards is the VRAM amount. However, if you take a look at the current price of GDDR6 VRAM, an 8GB module only costs about $2.60. So obviously, the huge price difference between these two cards has nothing to do with the actual cost of VRAM. In reality, it all comes down to all these companies that are willing to spend this much money on their graphics cards. They would rather overspend hundreds of thousands of dollars than lose a few seconds because they don't have enough video memory. Either way, the specs sound solid on paper, but how does it perform in gaming? But the real test is getting this workstation card to work properly in a gaming setup, and let me tell you, it definitely has its quirks and issues that you would normally not see on a regular gaming GPU. For example, it disabled my integrated graphics and is completely unusable in safe mode. So I kept on having to remove and replug my display cables over and over when I first installed the drivers for the thing. But that was the most inoffensive issue that I had with this GPU. It was more of an inconvenience. But don't worry, we'll get to the huge problems with using it as a gaming GPU once we get to the pros and cons later in the video. Because now, it's finally time to put this $2,000 monster graphics card to the test and see how it stacks up against normal gaming GPUs. We're going to be testing it in 10 games at 1440p on my Samsung Odyssey G6 360Hz OLED monitor. And these are the specs of my computer: a Ryzen 5 7600X, 64 gigs of DDR5, and of course, the RTX 4500 ADA. Starting with Monster Hunter Wilds, one of the most demanding games to release in 2025, it does 91 FPS at ultra settings with DLSS balanced, and 128 FPS with ray tracing maxed out and frame generation turned on. It would be closer to around 70 FPS without frame generation, but if you have a high refresh rate monitor, this is definitely one of the games that I would recommend having frame generation on. Cyberpunk on the ray tracing ultra preset with DLSS balance gets 90 FPS, and on RT overdrive with—
Yeah, but like, what's this in comparison to like 4080, for example, 4090, 5080, whatever?
path tracing gets 102 FPS as long as you have frame generation. Again, it would be slightly less playable at around 55 FPS if we didn't have frame generation. Black Myth Wukong released just last year and is still an
You act like 50 frames per second is like terrible or something. That's still really good.
extremely difficult
Well, a lot of the console games, it's like they lock them at 30, don't they?
game to run, but gets a pretty respectable result of 51 FPS at very high settings without upscaling. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, one of the older games on the list, fully maxed with ray tracing and no DLSS, gets 133 FPS. extremely smooth. However, this is where we ran into our first serious issue. My PC just gave up and stopped rendering the game. Not entirely sure what happened, and the only way to get out of this was to completely shut down my PC. But fortunately, it worked just fine after this, at least in this specific game. Next, in Uncharted 4 with fully max settings and native resolution, we get over 144 FPS. That is very impressive. In Fragpunk on competitive settings and DLSS balance, you could easily pair this with a 540Hz monitor and still get over 540 FPS. In Marvel Rivals at low settings with DLSS balance, we are getting 180 FPS. On these settings, the game is mainly CPU based, which is why we're getting the same results as we got on the 4080 and 5070. In Ratchet & Clank with full ray tracing and max settings, it gets 117 FPS. Ghost of Tsushima gets 124, and finally for Control, we're getting 107. So as you can see, for the most part,
That's crazy. Ghost of Tsushima, is it called?
10 FPS. Ghost of
It gets higher frame rate than Ratchet & Clank? I thought this game was visually appealing. They picked like the grayest background they possibly could for the situation.
24, and finally for Control, we're getting 107. So as you can see, for the most part, it's getting either better or similar performance to the RTX 5070 that I tested from just last week, which is also better than the 3090. But because this is a workstation GPU, how does it stack up against a gaming GPU in professional workloads? Well, at least for Premiere Pro, it is quite a bit slower than my RTX 4080, as you would probably expect.
Okay, so it's worse. So it costs more money and it's worse so far.
Exporting my latest video on the 4080 at 4K only took 4 minutes and 2 seconds, but on this GPU it took almost another full minute, making the 4080 about 23% faster. That is a pretty significant difference and not something that I really wanted to see on a GPU that costs $2,200. Remember, the 4080 is pretty easy to find between $800 and $900. That brings us to the pros and cons of this GPU. Starting with the positives, it has plenty of VRAM to last several years at 1440p. Something that I can't really say about a bunch of the Nvidia cards that have been releasing recently. Basically, every 70 class
They've all been crap.
card apart from the 4070 Ti Super only come with 12 gigabytes of VRAM. Now that is still very good for 1440p in most games, but you have to consider that we're trying to hold onto our GPUs for as long as possible. We don't want to just upgrade every single year, and I can promise you that 12 gigs at 1440p in a few years is going to be as big of a problem as 8 gigs in 1080p right now. So the fact that this has 24 gigabytes will keep it viable for 1440p for a little bit longer. Additionally, it's a very new graphics card with all the Nvidia features. And of course, it's going to fit in a lot of PC builds because of the very small form factor. However, the cons may outweigh the pros on this graphics card. First off, it has incredibly bad price to performance because companies are willing to pay so much for it. So it's not really a problem for them, but if you're just a regular person looking for a graphics card, this just makes no sense. It also has a lot of bugs.
Well, obviously it makes no sense because you can't even find it anyway.
And lacks game-ready drivers, so only studio drivers are available. You are going to get a lot more stability on studio drivers, but again, we did see some issues on the latest ones, so they're not really doing what they're supposed to. And probably the most annoying problem with this thing is that the coil whine is incredibly loud. Obviously, I play games with headphones connected, and you can hear the GPU through the freaking headphones. You're gonna get this with most GPUs, but on this one, it's completely different. It is so much louder. You won't really hear it when you're just browsing Google, but once you open a demanding game and uncap the FPS, it becomes so incredibly loud, it's literally like, I don't even know, bro. Like, I can hear it louder than my game sometimes. So after spending all this time with the RTX 4500 Ada, it can run everything I throw at it, and in a lot of cases, it performs better than a lot of respectable graphics cards out there. But that doesn't necessarily mean you should ever actually buy one.
Yeah, okay, it performs better, but it performs better in an unnoticeable way, right? And overall, you're getting less value for your dollar. It's not worth it.
The price to performance is awful.
This is literally just a video just to say I made a video.
Awful compared to a 4080 or 4090. It gets the same performance as a $500 RTX 5070, and for the same price as the 4090, you might as well get the 4090, which has the same amount of VRAM but significantly better performance. Regardless, I think it's crazy that Nvidia has this $2,200 secret GPU hiding in plain sight, and now you know exactly why nobody knows or talks about it. But something you definitely want to know is how I turned a $20 Chromebook into a Windows 10 gaming PC. So if you want to find out how I did it, watch this video.
So you made the video just to make the video, I guess. Well, good for you. Good luck in your endeavors. 187,000 subscribers. You're obviously doing something right. I have 230, I think. So I can't talk shit. I'm not even making 224 subscribers. I'm not even making my own content. I'm just watching other people's content. And I'm gonna regurgitate it later. It is what it is. Yeah. God, what is it? The 8th? I'm really waiting for the wipe on Exfil Zone with Unreal Engine 5 and the new map. I'm really curious on how that's all going to be. I look forward to doing some tasks and having a reason to do them. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to have to wait to receive kickback. Let's see here for my. I thought I already. I thought I already got. I already set all this up. What the hell's going on? SC Pay. Oh, I was on the wrong thing. Okay. Okay, I'm probably gonna go make some breakfast and then go on with my day. I gotta do some work, but I figured I'd at least jump on and do a stream and just kind of like chill. So I think I have to get on earlier. Wake up earlier and get on again. Yeah. But I'm gonna end the stream from here. So anyway, take care, guys.